Well, what do we have to do today for day 7? Day 7. I think I might have labeled one of my videos wrong. I hope I didn't. But today is day 7. Look how fast the time is going by. So just to let you know, I've been up since yesterday. Haven't had an ounce of sleep. Oh, I had all my intentions of getting some sleep, but for some reason I was sky watching. I was looking at the sky. I was kind of feeling into what the heck was going on in the sky. I was just sky watching. I was like, what's going on in the sky? Let's feel into the sky, what's going on in the sky. So back and forth to the sky, and my body was detoxing. I was doing strange things at 3:30 in the morning and detoxing. The body was releasing stuff, and I'm like, what the hell? Okay. Did this the other night. Now you're doing it again. Alrighty then. So the frequencies are definitely working. The frequencies are kicking bow tie. So let's step into today's can and see where we are. Because I am just right in that space. But like I said, I've been up since yesterday. Haven't had any sleep. Like I feel like I'm wired. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm wired. But the sky was so pretty this morning. It had these beautiful and orangey salmon mauve colors of these red tones was showing the plasma, showing the radiation of that light coming in, and the sun wasn't even up yet, but it looked like a painting. It looked like some kind of painting for a Hollywood post of come to Hollywood and explore. It looked like one of those summer posts where you're just going, having a moment like, it's summertime. So let's take a look at July 14th. And this is going to be Yellow Galactic Human. Oh my goodness. Yellow Galactic Human, guided by intelligence. It's this one right here. All right, so let's take a look, see, shall we? What happened? No, what? Okay. Here we go. Listen. So quiet. So quiet. I love it. I'm going to enjoy it. So quiet. The quietness. So before I jump into this, hold on a second. I have to bring this up. So yesterday, I was watching something very interesting, and I have to share this because this ties in with something that I saw posted on one of the YouTube platforms. So I was like, what? So hold on, I gotta bring this up. And I thought it was really interesting. It had me thinking. You know how you go to some of those cities, some of those towns, and they look like they got stuck in a time warp. Everything just stopped. But it's a town. I gotta pull this up. Because it's just a little bit mind-blowing. So hold on, let me find this. Because I do want to talk about it. Because I can't remember the guy's name. It just came up on my feed, and I was like, oh, okay, what is this? What is he doing? What does he do? Oh, he just drives around. Okay, he's driving around. What's he doing? What's he looking for? Okay. So let me pull this up. And there's a reason why I'm sharing this. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Just keep in mind, I've been up since yesterday. No sleep. Okay. Almost there. Hold on. Hold, please. Haven't eaten yet either. Hold, please. Let me see if I find it. Up, up. Okay. I'm almost there. Hold on. I gotta pull it up because it was very interesting. Okay, let me go back. Very, very interesting. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, okay. I'm gonna mute the sound on it. So this guy named Joe and Nick Road Trip. Okay, Joe and Nick Road Trip. 2 days ago, so maybe a few days beforehand, he puts together a post. He says, I visited third world country USA where houses cost $30,000. Okay, so he's visiting West Virginia town where he went into McDowell County, where he went into Welch, Kimball, Keystone, and North Fork. The one I want you to pay attention to is Keystone. Okay. Now, when he goes into his journey, I'm noticing that there's these buildings, they got a lot of flags up, Patriot, but a lot of these buildings are kind of reminding me of, what was that movie called? The Wax Museum. I think it was Wax Museum. Where the young people went into this town. They thought it was a real town, but everything was made out of wax. And people weren't even real in there. And they were all sitting like in this church, but they were all wax people. Okay. So he's driving through this town of McDowell. Now, I want you to understand what he's looking at. He's looking at houses. He's looking at, they're very run down. Okay. And I'm actually, what I'll do is I'll put it in here. And it says the one that he's going into is called the City of War. Welcome. Okay. So it's called War. War is before Welch. So he's going in and he's talking about, but you can see there's like this blanket of fog all in here. And I'm like, whoa, look at that. They have a Dollar General, but it looks like something out of a horror movie. Doesn't look right. There's no birds flying. There's no bird sounds. In this whole thing, there was no bird sounds, no birds flying, didn't see anything, no cats, no dogs on the road. So the first one where he stops, hold on, I'm going to pause this. Now, in 1930, the population was 1392. Okay, so 1392, 1,392 people in 1930. Then it went up like crazy in 1950s. It went up to 3,992 people. Okay, so something was going on pretty good in 1950s. And then all of a sudden, You start seeing in 1970, it takes a dip down to 2004. And then 1980, it kind of went back up to 2,158. And then it really went down in 1990, where it was only 417 people living there. Okay, this is in the county of War. So I'm like, whoa. So what happened in between 1980 and then in that 10-year span, 1990, it dropped to 417. Then at 2020, it went up, it was only at 690. Okay, pay attention. Now this is War, and now he's going to go to Welch. But like I said, there's no cities, there's nothing flying, no birds flying, nothing on the side of the road. You don't even see people, but all of a sudden he saw like the train coming through one of the towns, and I was like, okay, there's something alive. And then as he's driving, I'm not kidding, this whole place is vacant. It is like a freaking ghost town. All of the ones that he went through, where you can get these houses for $30,000. But the one that kind of got me is he went to Welch. Hold on, let me bring up Welch and I'll tell you what that one. I'm sharing this with you for a reason, because it looked like time stopped in these cities and things were quietly closed up on these people, and like they were given an opportunity. If they're going to stay, they're going to have limited sources. But you can also look at the river and see it's stagnant. It doesn't have like that life force. It was like watching him drive through a hard. You see all the trucks and cars, and in one of the cities, I think it was Kimball or either Keystone, there's one police officer, and he's also the mayor. And I don't even know if they had a fire department. Okay, so let's go. There's a lot of relic, big buildings that are standing in this house, but you don't sense a life force there. So it just really, and it's like 39% poverty for anyone that's under 18 or above that, and then 65 was like that poverty level is 45% poverty. And you're just watching this, and it's like, okay, you see cars in front of the houses. He's just driving down these roads, but you don't see any like life force going on. It's almost like, okay, was it the Wax Museum or the House of Wax? Might have been the House of Wax. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here. This is the one that kind of got me. I was like, what the hell? They have like county buildings where they made Budweiser. Then you see these big, beautiful, like Victorian houses. Windows and stuff open. You still see the lines, the telephone line. You're seeing things like, okay, so it's just, hold on. So Kimball, okay, I'm going to jump to Kimball. So Kimball, he's driving through. Now the fog that was over this whole section has lifted. Okay, so now the sun is shining. So here, in 1910, the population was 1630. It stayed up relatively, bouncing kind of back and forth until around 1960, it went down to 1,175. Okay, so then in 1970, it was only 962 people living there in Kimball. Okay, then in 1990s, it dropped down to 550 people. In 2020, it dropped down to 145 people living in this town. What happened? They even still had a standing South Bell telephone booth standing in a parking lot. Okay? 63% poverty level. Big buildings that were used to be courthouses, used to be big buildings, stuff. I didn't even see like a hospital. There was an old Walmart where you can see it used to be a Walmart, but totally everything vacant. And I'm like, what the hell happened here? Okay, so now the last one he's driving to. And you see the sunlight, but still no birds. He's going to Keystone. I want you to pay attention to that. Keystone. Okay, here, everything looks really abandoned. Okay, so in the 1900s, there was 1,080 something people living. In 1910, it went up to 2,047. 1940, it went up to 2,942 people living there. It started dropping off in 1970, where it went down to 1,008 people. Today, in 2020, that was the last count, was 176 people are living there. So as he's driving around, there's still like nobody coming out. You don't see anybody on the street. No crime. He said there's no crime in these areas. No crime. They handle it all on their own. There's no crime. I'm like, what? So I'm going to post this. And the reason why it's so interesting, I really want you to just look at it because it really looked like this was a form of like a reset in this section. Abandonment, businesses gone. You got a dollar store. There is no fast food place there. I think I saw a gas station. Just like, wow. So let's jump into today's Ken. I just had to share that because when I was watching it, I was like, this is almost like time just stopped right there. Like these people are caught in this time loop right there. There's a movie called Timeless or Endless Time where these two brothers accidentally stumble across a portal and they get caught in a time loop and watching people relive their scenarios over and over and over in these time loops, and they're trying to get out of there, and they're like, we're just watching people relive their lives in certain peculiar ways of, and they're trying to get out, and they go as far as trying to take themselves out, the people, but they loop right back in. The looping brings them right back into it, and they start all over again until they build up to that same scenario and try to take themselves out, and then they come right back. And one guide that they came across, he says, I've been in this time loop, same people, same place, same everything, and I can take myself out and I still come right back here. I can't get out of here. And I was like, that's what this place reminds me of, is this kind of time looping. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because somewhere along the line, in that timeline, there was something that took place that happened. Now, I looked at water looking very stagnant. It looked like it was a river, but it didn't look like it was flowing. But I saw the trees look green, but the buildings were decaying. What happened there? What was in the fog that comes in and it comes down really low? Just what happened? There was no more thriving. In order to keep a timeline in a positive timeline, and in order for you to anchor into one, there has to be a life force pulse there to tap into. If there's no pulse, there is no life force there. It is just a dead energy of looping energy that gives a presentation of there used to be life and movement here. There's barely a trickle of that here. But people make do. Of what? What do they make do of? And I'm telling you, when I put that post up, I want you to watch that. And then right after, he does another post where he goes to Nevada. And he goes to a town in Nevada. And boom, right away you see pigeons on the ground. You see some life force. I'm like, what the heck? And then we can go a little bit further. When you look at timelines of places and cities that just quietly went down. Everybody knows everybody, but it just becomes a system of itself, a community of itself. And they know when someone is an outsider coming in, everybody will know you're in there and watching you. Because whatever goes on in that county or that city, they don't want it getting out there. Okay? So I'm just looking at that. Like I said, a timeline has to have a pulse that you anchor into, and you step into that energy, and there's life force there. There's water. There's animals. There's vibrant tree. There's vitality. There's vitality there. Not advertisements of what once was. The past is still standing there as a reminder of how they were thriving. And now there's no pulse there. Just very little trinkle. Just enough of maybe a compression of a CPR that's just keeping a little bit of life there to count as a city or a county, to count as a county. So pay attention to where you are in those places that are looking like destituted. Because these are the places that we question ourselves on when we drive through them and you say, where are the people? There's a deep eeriness that comes into you that makes you question, where's the people? Where's the life force here? What happened? Okay? The reason why I say pay attention to this is because we're shifting through all these different timelines. There's these split things happening. And you get a fractional moment where you see something and you're like, whoa, and then it flickers back. And then there comes these moments when you're driving and then all of a sudden a pothole opens up underneath you. The pothole, when all this shifting is happening, is a ground portal. An energy so strong enough, it collapsed the physical ground. So now you got to kind of ask yourself when you're driving around, what are you feeling when you're driving around in your city, in your counties? And you can see this in places like when you go back and you look at Japan, China, there was life force. All of a sudden, what? They stopped building these big ass places and there's these buildings standing there with nobody living in them. All these homes and places, nobody living there. Just saying. So let me bring a little bit more awareness after I was talking to my elder today. And she was asking me, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I said, oh, I'm feeling fine, blah, 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 and just healing. I need this time to heal. She said, you need just time to heal. You just keep going and going and going and going. You're like that little bunny rabbit with the batteries and you just dun, 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 dun. You just keep going. I said, yeah. So I said, we started talking about the healers. Okay, pay attention here. Because today's kin is 112. Yellow galactic human. I harmonize in order to influence. Modeling wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the galactic tone of integrate. With the galactic tone of integrity, I am guided by the power of intelligence. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. The color is yellow. The planet is Earth. The chakra is the heart. And the Earth family is core. We have a rune. Trust me, I'm going to finish telling you what we discovered. It's going to make so much sense how important this is right now. Okay? Because I just go there. I go, hi, Grace. I just go there and I get in that place and I just kind of, I pay attention. I look at stuff and I'm like, wow, what is going on? Here's the message. To the master, the energy system, sensitivity should be developed in a psychosensory system. To you are able to perceive both what is apparent and what is not apparent. What you should have a connection to, what you should not have a connection to. So the rune that comes with that is 109, and it's defense. Defense powers. So I'm just going to make it short and sweet. This one is always about the power to avert blockages and defeat. At the same time, we develop in ourselves an aversion to conduct that creates aversion to the conduct that creates stress in our lives. What creates that obstacle on your path? Consider that even a delay may provide beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward. Now, we had this one probably a few days ago with this. So this is going to be a fourth dimensional energy and a second dimensional cosmic ascension energy. And this is all about tapping into that higher mind self right here. This is going to bring you into gate 315. So now, the talk that we got into, and this is going to hit home for a lot of you that are here with a purpose, and you are trying to stay focused, you're trying to keep your energy going, but you're seeing stuff and it's making you say, I don't think I can do this much longer. What's the point? What's the use? She was telling me how a lot of healers are giving up. They're walking away from their work. They don't care anymore. And then she was telling me about how she's witnessing a lot of healers, light workers are falling. Just all of a sudden falling. They trip on something, fall, hurt themselves. Down for a couple weeks, maybe a month, depending on the severity. She said, I've just been noticing. And then she says, and now I'm really noticing, not just amongst the healers, but how people are exiting. No longer on the planet. They're here one minute and they're gone the next. You just talk to them, you find out they crossed over. And I said, well, we're in a 7-month. We're in spirit energy. This is that time when we should be really communing with the divine and talking, high lovely talking. So after I got off the phone with her, and I kind of was just sitting there and I was watching the sunlight coming in because I haven't been asleep since yesterday. I'm still awake. And she says, yeah, I got up around 3 myself. She's on the island of Puerto Rico. And I was like, yeah. So I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, and I said, this is the month that's going to make or break a lot of healers. This is the month where you're going to be in it and you want to see the freaking results. And if you're not seeing it, you're going to collapse in yourself and say, I'm done. So this is where in our soul matrix of ourselves. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what is going on, this is where you have to really tap into the light of yourself more than ever. This is where whatever test that's coming up for us, that's making us feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is where you really have to check in with yourself. Is that your true, authentic feeling? Or is that a frequency, vibration, wave of energy that just came through and tapped you to see if it could hook in? You got to be the vibrational checkmate here. And this is where we take the time and check in with each other. You give that little friendly text. You give that phone call. You take that step and you say, hey, I'm not feeling so hot today. I just want to check in. How's everybody else doing? Are you guys feeling like this? Are you guys feeling like that? And then you're going to find out that you're not alone, that everybody else is feeling kind of caliwampic right now. But it's in these moments where we have to make it count, where you have to claim your flame, your light of yourself, and you don't let it go out for anything. We are in a spiritual warfare like no other. And this is not the time to sit back and judge yourself or to sit back and judge others. This is the time to really step into your purpose and walk it with a knowingness of who you are. That's the whole test. Because if you don't know who you are, then you're easy to take down. You're easy to manipulate. You're easy to pull down. You're easy to throw some scenarios your way and just watch you collapse into it. Because that'll be what your weakness is. This is a game like no other. And in here, when we came here, we said we're going to break it down. It's just a matter of holding true to yourself and staying in that, no matter what. And knowing that you're worthy, knowing that you have what it takes to shine with your purpose. You have it. But you got to be willing to be authentic. You got to be willing to speak your truth no matter what. Because there's going to be people who don't want to hear your truth. They're going to judge you for it. Are you willing to represent you, your light, your flame? Because really, right now, that's what it's going to take to go through these major shifts, these initiations of who you are. That's what it's going to take. You don't want to end up as the people in these counties where time just freaking stopped. Everything started closing up around them, but they're still there as all the foliage of the weeds and ivy is creeping in around their homes and literally swallowing it back into the earth. Because their life force is truly a borrowed time of light, because they don't know if they have what it takes to keep going in that county, or to keep it going. It gets caught in that loop until someone comes driving in, do 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 do. They got this bright ass light, and they bring in a newness into those places. And they walk in and they say, I'm here to remind you of who you are. Turn your light back on. So far, there's just some people that just kind of cruise through. Oh, look at this town. It used to be this. It used to be that. It has a history of it. Yeah, it had a history of this. And it's just sitting there now, existing with very, very little life force. So when we look at guided by intelligence, what are we really being guided by? Is it our heart? Is it our soul? Is it our love? Is it our spirit? Is it our eyes? What is the vision that we're holding, that we're trying to guide ourselves through to get to that? What is the vision you're holding? What is it? Because it's in that moment when you declare it so, is how you keep the life force of yourself going, and you keep the vision and your purpose going. You keep walking that path and you're going. You're not going to let energies come in and take you off of it. You're not going to sit back and negotiate with yourself and say, oh, it's too hard. Let me just go find a 9-to-5 job and get some benefits and call it that. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not get the news report? There's not going to be any more of that crap going on. You either are a creator or you're sitting off on the sideline trying to figure it out. You got to take a step somewhere. It might as well be something you create, you build, you bring into the world. You connect with it. You share it. You present it. Versus working for companies that don't give a damn about you. And we've all been there, right? So this is where the split is going to be very in your face this month. And a lot of you, you don't want to be out in the crowds. I get it. Yes, you don't want to be out in the crowds. There's too much shenanigans going on in the crowds. Crowded stores, trying to go find a parking spot. You don't want to be in the crowds because you're dealing with energies of confusions, of those who are caught up in the illusions and they don't know how to get out of it, and they're still trying to go back to the future of what we used to have. It's no longer there. We're all threading in this new water, bringing forth our new connection of ourselves. And that's what it's going to take. And you'll get the gist of that when you see that video. You're going to get that. You're going to look and you're going to say, damn, how many counties has this happened to. You know those places you just drive through on the way to your destination and you always wonder, what the hell happened here? What happened? There is nobody left to really tell the full story of what happened, how it came to be. So now, thank you. This is where we build a new legacy of who you are, what your purpose is, how you stepping forward. How are you doing with the battles? What do with the battles? Did you let it take you down and did you just stay in it like that on your back? Or did you get the hell up and say, you know what? Hold on a second. I got some bubble gum. I got sword 1 and I got sword 2. Which way do you want to go? Because in that moment, that's what it's going to take. All of us are being pushed to show our connection in our divinity of who we are. And we're fighting for that sovereignty, freedom. All of us are fighting for that. Some of us have forgotten what freedom really is, and we've just been subdued to just keep going along with it. But once you get a taste of your light and you watch how bright it becomes and you remember who the fuck you really are, that's when you rise. And that's when things change. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. Because we're each a source of light for each other that are ready to burst into that. So, with that being said, I had no idea where this Ken was going to take, but that once you see that video, you cannot unsee it because it will leave you thinking and you will be like in your mind saying, I know some other places like that, you know, that I just kind of drive through and I don't really think very much about it. I just say, oh, it's just an old, cute little town. That's what we always like to say. Oh, it's just an old, little, cute little town of the past. The building's still kind of standing. It's almost like a version of Silent Hill. Yeah. We got a version of the House of Wax with Silent Hill built on top of it. You just don't see the real part of it until night comes in. Then that's when everybody's scurrying around. But during the daylight, everybody's just quiet and just chilling. You'll see nothing. Nobody out. Because they're going to have their own kind of Silent Hill moment. Mm-hmm. All right, lovelies. That was kind of deep, huh? Makes you kind of think just how precious where we live in our timeline and our life force and the people when we have communities together and when you're in that and you know so-and-so down the street, you know this person, you know what went on with Bobby Sue and Betty Lou, and you know what's going on with Johnny down there and Sam, and you know what's going on. Because it's a community. and you watch it grow, and you watch it slowly go down. So whose light is going to be left standing that can rebirth it? Earth is so big. There's so much land mass on Earth, but they give us this illusion that, oh, it's just a little piece here, a little piece here. Oh, it's overpopulated here. Oh, it's overpopulated here. Oh, you can't be there. Oh, they do all this stuff. There is so much space on this planet. But yet and still the xenomorphs make us think like we're all huddled together like sardines. No, we're not. We're not. So, as we keep moving forward, lovelies, we're just going to keep on seeing straight with our eyes and be true to the self. Because that's how this is going. You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, right? Of course not. So let's dive into the message of the day. I have no idea if I'll get any sleep, but I've been up since yesterday. I don't know what's going on, but I was watching the sky. Very interesting things going on in the sky. All right. It's supposed to be hot again. I like that. Again. Supposed to be hot again. But just remember, we're in this process right here. Just remember that. This is what's happening right now. Okay, just remember that. When you start feeling kind of out of your Captain Crunch and don't know what's going on, you know, you're just feeling a little bit of blueberry here. I don't know. Honeycombs has nothing to do with it, and not even any kind of fruity pebbles. I don't know. Just trying to hold it all together. All right. So I hope each and every one of you are doing well. Thank you so much for being here on Be Soul Light. Be your light. Be your soul light. How are you representing in yourself? What did you come here to do? Okay, and we're also going to have some astro codes here. Today I'm going to take it nice and easy and slow and order in some good things. Put ice on the knee and ice on my finger that keeps giving me like anger issues, like it's upset. It's got issues in its tissues. Oh. And then I'll sit and do my journal and just be. I like it when it's nice and quiet because you can hear. When there's too much noise going on, you miss the messages. You miss someone trying to give you info. You miss it. Okay. Here's the first word. What's the separation? Reconnecting to your center. What is making you feel separated? What's the separation? Look at the center of that. You see the DNA strands? So how does this make you feel separate from mundaners? that just go along with everything. How do you feel separate? Shut the front door. What do I do? Now, I just showed you this. And remember, I used those set of cards. So I just showed you the first card from this one. I showed it upside down, excuse me. Okay. And then I pulled the second card of this one. These are by the same person that designed it. One dark, one light. Okay, shadow and light. So the separation is this. When I get ready to show you what the card is, you're going to say, what the hell? And then, number 26, get out of town. I'm getting... Oh! This is number 26. Are you ready? Are you ready? Can't make this stuff up. This is why I love doing what I do. Can't make this stuff up. There you go. What is that? What did I just say? It is number 26. That's why I like to have two sets of cards that are by the designer who made the cards. And I love it when I got goosebumps all over me when the energies align themselves and give a very in-your-face message. So you have this message here of the separation, but then when we bring it out from the shadow self and bring it into the light, it's still the Versi of Percy. That is number 26. That is insanity. 26 and 26. Yeah, I love it. All right. Let's just keep it going. That's a shocker to the system. Number 21, spiritual rebirth. Being rebirthed into the self, the energy, being that phoenix, letting it all shed. Mother is doing that. She's letting everything move out. Her wounds are being irrigated. Irrigated. From the wisdom of the stars, we have Stargate. What's the messages in the Stargate waiting for you? What's the Stargate message? Because what follows up with that is the astral compass of the soul contract. And it's the stars form a celestial, compass that guides you. Follow its light to navigate your soul's journey with clarity, cosmic direction, starry guidance, and true north. If you are a grid walker, you're always in the flow of this. And the way you find out what you really are is go and look at the video I put up with Empress talking about your birthday. And some of you kind of need to know that because you go through moments of, okay, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to do this anymore. You're off in a different direction until you get brave again and try it one more time. Have you ever wondered why you really came here? What's the significance of your birthday? Why was that portal gateway so important for you to get here? What are some of the trials and tribulations that you had to go through to be right where you are right now? Do you know last night, this is going to hit home for a lot of you. I was in the ethers clearing an energy from my biological dad. And this is going to hit home for some of you. If you got a biological dad, but you never met them, or a mother, something like that, where they just took off and left. There is an energy signature that they left on you that is not yours to carry, because it's their accountability and their behavior, and it's not yours to carry. So until you say, I do not carry my true father or biological father's, his form of his thought process of his sins, of what he does, and how he hurts someone energetically with his decisions, I do not carry that. I do not honor it. It is not mine to carry. His errors are not mine to carry. I break that here now. I claim me. I got here through this situation, but I do not own the lie or the illusion or the trickery that created the scenario, how I got here. That is not mine to carry. I stand in my own light and I walk from there. When you say something like that and you claim that, there's this boom lift that happens where you sit back and you say, oh, maybe that's why I was having this kind of weird thing happen with me all the time. Every time I get in a relationship, it was like almost the same exact scenario playing out. For what reason? Why? Because a cell of a cell creates a cell until that cell says, I don't carry what this cell has done energetically, and takes responsibility for their own energy of their cell. So think of it like this. This is what my work is based on, and I'll give the star codes after this. If you have a scenario where one of the parents lied about something, say they lied about being married, or they lied about being single, but they were really married, and they had kids already in another marriage, but they met up with the other parent and gave this whole facade that they were single. And then you were created on a fluke, really not a fluke, because you chose the two to come together for a reason. You had a kid here some kind of way, so you picked them out. So you come, and then that one takes off and leaves, but leaves the other parent heartbroken and destituted and felt just, oh my God, because of not knowing until the game was over and then presented it, okay? So it's in that time, the created being out of that is walking around in life, and there's certain things that come up that keep mimicking, showing the same scenario. And you're like, what is this? And then when you see it and you capture it, you're able to denounce it and say, it is not yours to carry. I do not walk this for what this parent decided to do. That is not mine to carry. And I make it so. Right here, right now. Not mine. Take that with you. That's yours to go correct. That's yours to go clean up. That's yours to carry around that lying energy. It is not mine to carry. So this is that part where we get those flashes in our lives where things never sat right with us. Things keep showing up the same kind of way. Different people, but it's the same scenario, same thing, until you finally detach and pull the separation out of it and say, I'm not carrying that. That's theirs. That's not mine to carry. The greatest gift that can ever be given is when you say no more, or when a parent steps forward and says, I'm the one that did this. That's my energy, my accountability. That was never yours to carry. That's the greatest gift, to be able to let that go. You are not whatever your parents turned out to be. And whatever their errors that they made, that's not you. That's not you. You simply came here in a celestial moment to be born to come here and do what you needed to do. Your parents have their own accountability, their own responsibilities, their own cleanups, their own healings, their own wounds to irrigate. That was never yours to walk with and to live by and feel like that's happening to you, because that's not yours. Never was. What do? So, we got 5th house, 43. Oh, there's that 7. For passion. Star code. And then we got the doorway of what all this water is doing on planet Earth. The Aquarius. Collaboration. Okay. All right, lovelies. Boom, boom, boom. I want you to enjoy your day. And if I said something here to trigger you to look at something, to look at a pattern, to look at something that was going on, and you like go, oh my God, that's a ha-ha moment. That's been happening to me. I hope you give yourself permission to let it go. I hope you give yourself permission to really stand and be your true flame self. Be your soul light. I hope you really do that for yourself. Because you're here for a reason. You're not a mistake. You're here for a reason. You never were a mistake. You came with a purpose, a divine purpose at that. It just kind of took a little time to figure out what that is, because of all the amnesia crap they pull on us. Flash, what was that? That's why. All right? Okay, lovelies. Be in that place of intelligence. Have a divine conversation with the divine. Yes, I'm talking to you. Have a divine conversation with the divine. You can do that. Do it. Sit and be in that space. Then create. I think you can handle that, right? You wouldn't be here if you couldn't do that. You just have to remember how to do that. How to allow yourself to do that. All right. I have the rest of the day to just pamper myself, and maybe, just maybe, I will fall asleep and get some rest since I've been up since yesterday. Yes? Yesterday. Not doing any caffeine. Haven't even eaten yet. But I'm about to. All right, lovelies. It's been my pleasure to be here with you. My name is Felicia, as well as the Galactic Priestess, Makala. Here to show you and to tell you to be your light. Stop blowing that car horn out there. Anyway, I digress. Maybe. All right, lovelies. Be good to yourself. I'm going to put that video up so you can watch that, okay? And just kind of pay attention. You'll see what I'm talking about, where it takes you, all right? All right, much love. I will see you tomorrow, right here, as we walk through these portals, as we get activated and really look at things. And like, today's the day.